I would like to see you in action. I think it's real easy to profess what you profess on the radio, and I would love to see you do it in person.
Why are you so skeptical about this?
Because I think that it's easy to say what you're saying to a radio audience who, for the most part, loves you and agrees with you. But if
well, forget about me. How about all the other people who've called in and said they've tried these things and they work? If you tell me you've never heard one, you're lying about listening all the time, because we've had hundreds, if not thousands, of calls like that.
Right, and I've been skeptical about how intelligent and thorough thinking some of those people are, and I've wanted to follow up with questions about your background and where you get your information.
Forget about my background. I'm talking about the callers who call in and say, I did what you said, and it worked for me. Now, you don't listen as much as you say. If you've never heard a call like that, you don't listen as often as you say.
Oh, of course I've heard calls like that. But
so what about them? Are they all lying? I'm lying, they're lying, we're all lying.
No, absolutely not. I'm not being hostile at all. I'm curious. Okay. I think that you have to dig deeper, though, into your mentality in order to understand where you're coming from. And I don't often hear your
where I'm coming from is women, first of all, react positively to being treated lousily. Number two, women like confidence. And a confident man is one who says, I don't care if you sleep with me or you don't. Or, fine, go back to your ex-boyfriend. That's okay with me. Women can't get enough of that, because generally men are a bunch of sniveling pussies who will tolerate any crap from Her Majesty. And the minute a man comes along who is confident and calls her on her crap and tells her, go ahead, fine, sleep with someone else, I don't care.
I think that's refreshing, but I haven't seen very many men doing it in public.
Well, dear, understand, our show, in the highest-rated markets, because like in L.A. there's 82 radio stations, okay? The highest-rated show would be 10% of the audience. So in any city, 90% of the men are not listening.
I just think that there's a lot of things that are left questionable sometimes.
There's nothing questionable about it. If you met one of my listeners, you would know it.
Well,
but do you understand? I know women have a very hard time with numbers. Do you understand that if the highest-rated show has 10% of the audience, that means 90% of the people you meet don't listen? Do you understand that there's 82 stations? A station with 2% of the audience has a higher than average audience. And so the station with a higher than average rating, 98% of the listening is not to that station.
I guess what I'm getting at is you seem to be a very intelligent businessman, and I sometimes wonder about how you implement the practices that you say you do in a society.
The way I say, how I implement them. I tell you how I implement them.
It just seems very hard to do a lot of...
I give very specific. I tell men how to avoid eating dinner with a woman and why to avoid it. I tell men to avoid going to concerts, avoid going to movies. I tell men to keep the conversation short, say as little as possible, and when you do talk to a woman, be unpredictable and unreliable, because that is what gets the best reaction.
What if this situation were reversed and you needed to... Because you seem to have all the answers to everything. What if you had to tutor a woman?
I would tell this is advice for anyone who can admit that they want to get laid. The thing about most women is they'll give you some candy-coated thing that they're looking for love, or they're looking for the man of their dreams, or they're looking for a soulmate, or blah, blah, blah. I know there's women who want to get laid because I've been with them. But women will rarely admit that. You see?
No, and it makes perfect sense. I wonder about how you...
Well, don't repeat your material. You've already said this 5 times. There, it gets tiresome. You've said that 5 times already.
Okay.
You're skeptical? Fine, we get it.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. You only have 90 seconds of juice at most. Most of them, 30 seconds of juice. Then they keep repeating what they said until you commit caller euthanasia. Put the call out of its misery. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. This is Brittany on the Tom Leykis Show.